Okay, let's start a new week. It's the 11th of February 2001. I will say, not a vintage week of films. Dungeons and Dragons, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, and Dude, Where's My Car? All in UK cinemas.
Where's your car, dude?
I haven't seen it, so that reference means nothing to me. Atomic Kitten still number one as they continue for the rest of the month, but facing challenges in the form of Papa Roach Show coming soon, and this from Wheatus, it's Teenage Dirtbag.
This still sounds massive to this very, very day. Was this on your radar when you were that young?
Yeah, very much so. This is one I distinctly remember. I can see myself in my granddad's car with this on the radio and me being like, okay, this is interesting. This and Alien Ant Farm, Smooth Criminal are both they're both in the car for me. I can see them both in the car. It's kind of like an indie school disco favourite, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's permeated through, I guess, because the track is such a school disco thing. You know, the video has one, and it's a lot of references to kind of freaks and geeks and that sort of vibe. I mean, immediately I imagine this gets bonus points from you because it's got Jason Biggs and Mina Savari in the video.
Well, that's an interesting point, right? Because that seems like this was a massive strategy, because at this point, you know, we've had American Pie. Yeah. Jason Biggs kind of is one of the biggest stars in the world at this point. And Mina too, even though she wasn't, I suppose she actually did become huge for an actress at that point too, even though she wasn't like the lead in American Pie. American Beauty did all sorts of stuff for her too. And this the video for this is based around the film Loser, which is based on reading it today. Something I feel like I want to see because I want to have had that in my life really. But to have them in it is a really smart way to get the message of the song out to young people, because what it does is it distracts from what it's really about a little bit, and it fills in like an alternative narrative to it, whereas actually the real narrative is really a track about not being noticed as a teenager and being branded as a dirtbag just simply because you love heavy metal. And that opinion formed in America after there was like a real brutal and satanic murder where the murderer was seen wearing an AC/DC t-shirt. So attitudes towards people that liked any sort of metal were just completely tainted. So what they've managed to do is, as this song, they're actually talking about being seen as a teenage dirtbag, but in the music video, it kind of makes it look like he's a geek as opposed to a metalhead. But what it did is it really validated a lot of people who behave themselves, don't have any sort of issues, are not going to go and murder someone, but like this kind of music. And I didn't realise, but that actually ticks a box for me in many respects when I was this age. But I didn't realise that's what it's about. I kind of thought it was about being a geek and maybe being like the oddball. And actually, it's a very important song because everybody has been that outsider. Everybody's seen themselves as that outsider in some sort of social circumstances. You know, most people actually kind of felt that the whole way through school, even if you were the popular kid. But if you know anything about imposter syndrome,
it's my middle name.
You'll realise that actually you're always going to feel, at certain, you know, there might be points where it's turned off, but the whole way through adult life, and even to this day, I still feel like I'm an imposter in circumstances a lot. This song is pretty much about that, really. But if you do Google it, there is a really sad, interesting story about a murder that did happen behind the lead guy in Wheatus's house, in a forest behind his house, and it is definitely worth reading. And the thing that annoys me about that is the whole story and the narrative is around the murderer, not the guy that got murdered. But big characters in the video. I think they managed to swerve it really well to get the song out to the mainstream, to validate a lot of young people who listen to lyrics.
Vocally acquired taste kind of voice for me, because it's kind of a bit like, yeah, especially, oh yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. It's just like, come on, try harder than that. Don't screw your face with someone.
You don't like this era of stuff? What you referred to this era of the American Pie era? What did you call it? Stoner rock or something? Stoner something?
I think I called it douchebag music.
Yeah, douchebag music.
I call it douche bro music, I think it was.
So this is your era where this stuff doesn't sit right with you. And I don't feel like it doesn't matter what story we put behind this that we can get you to like love this kind of a thing.
I feel like I do. I do feel like I like this a lot, and probably not enough to make it a contender. I'd maybe only put it in there because of the nostalgia for me. I mean, certainly the story you've said there, I didn't know about that, so that's kind of put it in an interesting light. Certainly it makes it more than, because it's so easy to get sucked in by the video and just think of it that way.
Yeah.
And I've kind of always thought of it that way when I've heard the song, but maybe I've not been listening closely enough, or I just didn't know that story really. But I do like it. It's grungy. It's got nice distortion on there. I love the end bit where it's kind of the final bit of a thrash. It's like dun dun dun, bow. Yeah.
Well,
brilliant.
If I'll fill the video in for you a little bit more, right, about the film Loser, because this is the reason why I want to go and see it now, but to kind of do it at a really, really high level. So the film Loser, the gist is that Jim from American Pie, I don't know what his character's called in Loser, but Jason Biggs is on scholarship at college, at a very good college, and he's pretty much getting shat on by these other guys at this very, very like affluent university, and they keep destroying his life because he's working class and he's on scholarship. They hate the fact he's on scholarship. And then actually Mina Savari's character isn't on scholarship. She's also working class, but she's a stripper working her way through university by paying for her stuff. And I think the gist is it's the meeting of these two people in a university that is very, very pretentious and very get them out. So actually potentially a really interesting film to watch. It could be complete pants. If you've seen Loser, tweet me, Scott McGurdy, let me know what the crack is. But I do feel like I'm going to try go out of my way to watch that one. But I think that's relatable again, you know, for anybody that has to graft whenever other people around you are just privileged.
Yeah.
We're ticking another box here with that video, really, but the video doesn't really portray the film that well. We are looking kind of like geek gets the girl and then it's a dream.